Hey everybody, Mario here, otherwise known as Y2M on the interwebs, and welcome to another edition of the Reboot Review. I have a lot of comics to talk about, so we gotta get right to them right away. Let's start with Supergirl number 4. If you remember, Supergirl was, Kara, was in a bit of a bind last issue, being captured by the Lex Luthor wannabe playboy whatever. As the cover says, they took their best shot. Shouldn't it be she took her best shot? Now it's Kara's turn. Awesome. This issue was pretty much a straightforward Kara beats up everybody issue, which was nice. And we start to realize that unlike her previous incarnations, Kara isn't going to be so trusting of others. We're not even sure if she's going to be trusting of her cousin. I thought things were resolved pretty nicely in this issue, although I really don't like how this issue ended with the Lex Luthor clone. Obviously going to be one of Kara's early arch enemy, supervillain type of guys. I really didn't like him because, I mean, he's too much like Lex Luthor, and we already have one of those, and he's actually kind of cool. So, hopefully this villain gets his own identity and becomes an actual archenemy to Supergirl. One can hope. Overall, this issue was solid. It was a nice bit of character development in an otherwise straightforward storyline. Not bad. Couldn't have been better. It's just what it is. It's a solid book. Next up, Birds of Prey number 4. Alright, so the Girl Power Group gets a member in Batgirl. Now, whether or not this is a temporary joint venture or if she's going to be part of the team from here on out, who can say? But so far she didn't really do anything in this issue. The same can be said for her own comic run. The Birds are still dealing with the chameleon people, soldiers. We finally have an idea of what their plans are. It only took us like 4 issues, but we finally got an idea of what they're planning to do. One thing I did like is that we're starting to see this motley group of girls who didn't really care for each other much start to join together and actually be a team. Actually be Birds of Prey. I know some of you will probably feel uncomfortable with Poison Ivy being a part of the team, but she actually works rather well. There will be some clashes, obviously, later, but that's for another time somewhere down the road. But for now, this issue was another solid issue. It could have been better, but it wasn't exactly terrible. It just was a straightforward story. If that's your thing, pick it up. Wonder Woman number 4. When I saw the preview for Wonder Woman number 4, I was pretty horrified because I honestly thought that they had done the comic equivalent of jumping the shark. I really did. But that was only because I didn't read what came after the preview. Once I picked up the full issue, it made a little more sense. And I have to say that this is probably the best version of Wonder Woman I've ever read. It took me a little bit to get used to the artwork and to the new storyline, apart from her new origin story. But once I did, I'm realizing that this is awesome. This is probably the best mythology type superhero comic out there. Sorry, Herc, but it's true. There's a lot of character development here, and the interaction between her and the gods. Wow, normally I don't like this kind of stuff, but it works so well here, and it makes you forget, oh crap, this is a comic about a superheroine. Huh. I gotta tell you, this was definitely an above average issue, and this series is really way above average. I'm so glad that Brian Azzarello has Wonder Woman in his hands right now. He's really doing a very original and unique take on it, and I have to tell you, it took me a while to get used to it, but I'm really loving it now. Fantastic issue. I recommend it. Wasn't even a Wonder Woman fan before this, but you should really check it out. Green Lantern Corps number 4. Alright, so we're starting to get an idea of who the Lantern Keepers are. Oh crap. For example, their name would be 1. Once we find out their origin story, you're like, what? That kind of came out of left field, didn't it? Yeah and no, if you really think about it. Yeah, for some of the uninitiated like myself, yeah, that really came from left field. But I'm pretty sure the people who are more into the Green Lantern lore would probably be like, I kind of suspected. As you can tell by the cover, John Stewart is in a bit of a bind, literally. Him and a couple other Lanterns who didn't quite get out of there when the rest of the Lanterns got out of Dodge ended up being captured, and some heavy truths have been revealed to them. Meanwhile, Guy Gardner is desperate to get him back, and he's doing a little bit of an interrogation with one of the captured keepers. Meanwhile, where the hell are all the Guardians in all of this? It seems like the Guardians are pretty much out of the picture in just about every Lantern book there is, except for New Guardians. That's an exception, but I won't get into that today. Tomasi's story was pretty solid. It wasn't like as intense as issue 2 and 3, but it kept the pulses racing just a little bit. Solid issue. Pick it up if you're a fan of Green Lantern anything. This is probably my third favorite Lantern book, besides New Guardians and Green Lantern proper. But if you have the means to get them all, get them all. Nightwing, number 4. Alright, did I tell you how much I love Nightwing? I'm loving Nightwing because it's a breath of fresh air from Batman. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Batman has its own look and feel and theme. Nightwing is sort of the opposite of that. And again, it works well for Dick Grayson. So, pretty much there's still some fallout from the 3-issue story arc with Psycho, which I'm not entirely convinced is gone out of the picture for good. So now Dick's dealing with the aftermath of that, trying to figure out the mystery of Haley's circus. Stuck between a redhead and another redhead. Sandwiched by 2 gingers. What a lucky bastard. Yeah, as you can tell, Batgirl makes a cameo appearance in this one. It doesn't feel forced in like some other cameos. There's actually some good character development and a reminder of the relationship and bond between Barbara and Dick. Overall, this issue was pretty solid. The villains were kind of a red herring in this one. I don't even remember who they were because that's how forgettable they were. That's the only downside to this issue, but otherwise, this was a really great issue. The artwork was fantastic, and Kyle Higginson's writing is still awesome for Nightwing. Pick this up if you are a fan. Why wouldn't you be? It's awesome. It's a Bat book. It should be awesome. Oh, jeez. Here we go again. Deciding which one was my favorite. I'll get to that in a minute. Batman, number 4. Did I mention that Scott Snyder's story arc is just all kinds of ass-kicking fantastic? Because it is. I have to say, this entire story arc with the Court of Owls is probably one of the most exciting, nail-biting story arcs I've read in comics to date. It's clear that the Waynes and the Court of Owls are intertwined somehow. We still don't know the full scope of it yet, but we know that it's nothing good. But the one thing I still find hard to believe is that Batman is still not convinced that it is the Court of Owls behind all of this. I gotta tell you, it's pretty freaky that we've only heard about the Court of Owls, and we still haven't seen actual living members of the Court of Owls, just seen pictures of other members from the past. That all changes at the end of this issue. Now we know that the Talon's been trying to kill Bruce Wayne, and has been tangled up with Batman in the previous 3 issues. We get to see more of the Talon here in this issue. But he's not really the focal point. The focal point is the Court of Owls themselves when they finally make an appearance. And I gotta tell you, it's not gonna end well for Batman. The cliffhanger that they leave is... whew. Yeah, that's pretty much my reaction. And that'll pretty much be your reaction as well. Scott Snyder is just all kinds of crazy awesome with this Batman run. I'm loving the writing. The story, the character interaction, it's like, it's all there, man. It's all there. And Greg Capullo's art, mwah. Sure, it has a 90s vibe, but in this case, in this story arc, in Batman, this one right here, not the Dark Knight, this one, it works. Between Capullo's artwork and Snyder's writing, it is just one giant grab bag of glorious. It's awesome, okay? Pretty much is what it is. Read the first 3 issues. You need to get caught up in this. This is not a reader-friendly one. You just need to get caught up in it. But this is one of the best story arcs, and this is one of the best comic series that DC has right now. Hands down. No argument. Shut up. Shut up. Don't even try to argue it. No. No. You cannot. No. Your argument is invalid because I have Batman. And last but not least, once again, my pick for this edition of the Reboot Review, Justice League, number 4. So this is another Justice League issue that just, whoa, makes me excited. So, the band is pretty much formed at the end of this issue, and just in time too, because guess who makes an appearance? Darkseid. I meant to say Darkseid. I was just being... So yeah, Darkseid makes an appearance, and man, oh man, you know things have finally hit the fan when you see Darkseid make an personal appearance, which is good, because I was getting kind of tired of seeing the Justice League just take on his little demon minions that everyone seemed to have handled with no problem, even Aquaman, although he did in a pretty badass way. So while these guys squabble about who should be the leader of the Justice League, Darkseid's like, you know what, I'm just gonna step up here and show my Omega awesomeness of death. Meanwhile, Cyborg finally makes an appearance. He's like, hey, guys, what up? I'm Cyborg, and holy crap, I can't believe I'm part machine. That's in a nutshell. That's the in a nutshell version of what happens in the issue. Spoiler alert. This is the other favorite. Like, I have 5 must-have, can't-miss favorite comic runs in DC right now. This is one of them. Justice League. It started off slow, and believe me, I heard enough whiners whine about how slow issue 1 was. But it picks up speed fast. Edge of your seat, exciting. We get good character development and interaction between all the members of the soon-to-be Justice League. There's some funny moments, there's some pretty serious moments. Nothing too serious yet, but overall we know that this is the build-up. This is what we've been building up for. In issue 5, we know that things are going to hit the fan, man. I can't wait. And I heard that this was going to wrap up in issue 6, so man, we got 2 fun-filled issues left. I don't know what's going to happen, but now that Darkseid is in the picture, you know things are about to get serious. This is my pick of this edition of Reboot Review. I cannot recommend this enough. Batman, Justice League, these are the must-haves, although of course I pick up others, but Justice League, if you don't have it, what's wrong with you? Pick it up. No, shh, no, 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 shh, no, no, shh, no. Pick it up. Alright, that's it for now. I'm going to go to the comic store a little bit later to get this week's releases. Sorry I was tardy with this, but I did want to take a few days off because of the holidays, and I wanted to spend it with my family, which I did, and I had a lot of fun. Guys, I can't keep calling this a Reboot Review forever because we are really deep into DC's run now. We are hitting the 5th month, and that means issue 5 is coming out, so it's not really the new 52, it's starting to become more like the current 52. So guys, can you give me suggestions about what I should rename this vlog? Because that would be great. Leave your comments down in the commentary spot, because I'm not calling it doobly-doo, and the thingamabob wasn't an improvement. Alright, that about does it. Keep reading, love comics, live nerdcore, Y2M out.